Panda, what's up? Danny Bedrosian, what's up, sir? Well, thanks, Danny. I get really nervous doing those, if I can be completely honest with you. Um, I get a little bit of apprehension anytime I'm talking about anybody's individual, independent work. I'm not worried when I'm talking about a Jim Lee X-Men comic, but when it's something like that, and it's a personal work, and I don't know, it just makes me nervous. And I'm like, am I understanding it correctly? Am I getting it right? I don't know. But I'm glad to hear that you guys enjoyed it. It was, it was fun. Major Art Teams Day and yours. Well, thank you, Mr. Bedrosian. I really, really appreciate it. I really do. Egg test tube, what's going on? Danny, you're absolutely honored given your talent. How many streams and shows of yours I've watched? Well, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if I get the ideas across correctly and point some eyes at it, that's kind of ultimately my goal with anybody's indie book, is to just give anybody the opportunity to have their stuff be seen by other people and maybe get some attention their way. I know we all struggle to get, our stuff looked at. It's hard. And since I've kind of gathered a little bit of an audience through my channel, it's one of my, I feel like a little bit like a little responsibility, like take the opportunity and just share some stuff. So it's fun. I am. Yep. I actually just did a video about Ninja Turtles. It's the Ninja Turtle comic adaptation. It's less about the comic adaptation as much as it is about the videos about how the Turtles, and specifically that first movie, is what actually got me inspired and motivated to draw as a young kid. And just talking about the Turtles just got me interested. And so I'm like, I'm gonna, I want to draw the Turtles again for a minute. I've never been able to really get them right. It's kind of tricky. Danny, much appreciated. You love my insight, and I both said things I hope to hear and said things that maybe look at it with a new eye. I just hope I wasn't misinterpreting or explaining things, I actually did do a little Googling and, saw some of the mythology, the characters and stuff. Like, I saw some images of statues and stuff, and I found a video on YouTube that kind of explained a little bit about some of the mythology of the region, that all kind of connected to what the comic was saying. And I don't know, just maybe do a little Googling and exploring a bit. And it's fascinating stuff. NECA, is it NECA or NECA? Toys has a great toy set of the first Ninja Turtles movie. I've seen those, and it's one of my goals in life to get those things. The original movie turtle designs are the only ones I give a shit about. I'm not necessarily, I never read the comics. And I wasn't necessarily a big fan of the animated show, but the movie, that was my jam. Yeah, Danny, that's what I was kind of seeing. And I think I was talking. I think I was mentioning in the video how it's like there's so much history in the world. There's so many cultures. There's so much out there. And, it's just neat to have you guys make something that specifically puts a focus on that in a way that you're, especially like your casual, like American comic fan would maybe not know about, except for the fact that you guys put it in comic book form and make it a visually interesting kind of way to show some adventure and fun and actual history and knowledge. It's a really neat way to use the comic art form. And yeah, it's one of those things to kind of look into. Yeah, I did a little Googling and saw some stuff like that. And thanks for stopping in, Egg, as always. But yeah, comics you can use to create or, impart all kinds of interesting information and ideas. So what a great use of the medium, Danny. It's a really neat thing. I'm over here making stupid comics about superheroes that get their dicks chopped off, so I don't know. Feel a little awkward now, but Danny, thank you for recognizing that, Rob. It's a little studied, and the medium lets you use that. Yeah. It's one of those things where I feel like you can read the comic and you know that everything that's in there is it's not like fabricated. I guess I mean, like, I was thinking about this recently, how like I've watched several movies that I thought were really fascinating, but then you find out later you find out like this movie that you loved was so historically inaccurate. You're like, oh God, oh well, shit. Kind of like Braveheart. That's an example I was thinking about. Like, that's one of my favorite movies. But then once you get along and you actually find out how historically inaccurate it was, it kind of deflates it a little bit. But then you can take something like what you're doing, Danny, and you guys are putting in the true stories of, it's the mythology and stuff like that, but it's the real mythology of the region and real places, and so it just makes it more interesting. Danny, we grew up on the same shit, and I wouldn't change a damn thing. Yeah, that's true. It's one of those things where I didn't realize at the time how much fun I was having reading comics. Like, I was having fun, but now that I'm older, I'm like, oh man, how do you recapture that magic? I don't know that you can. Yeah, Danny. Yeah, it combines the mythology and the history, so there's real history up in there mixed in with the myth, which was also, like I said, linked. It was said was regionally accurate. Yeah. Yeah, Danny, I think I remember you saying that somewhere, or I read that somewhere, that you're a degree-holding historian of Middle Eastern studies, so you have that background, which makes sense. Um, yeah, I knew that. You must have mentioned that once before, because I do remember that coming up somewhere. And again, what a neat way to kind of like take something you're interested in and history that you study, and you're like, we're gonna spin this into a comic and make something that's never. I mean, honestly, it's like, is anything like that ever been made before about that specific subject? And I mean, I would say probably not. So it it stands out as unique like that. Position this camera. Totally rad, dudes. Danny, there's one guy who did an Armenian history comic called East of Byzantium. Byzantium. His name is Roger Kupelian. He was, I believe, a special effect art direction guy in Hollywood. Oh, interesting. So, I'm going to screenshot that and see if I can't look it up. Screenshot, so I can remember that later. Oh. Oh, that's funny, Danny. Dan Panosian, when he does a Conan comic, he's actually doing Armenian history too, because Sumerians did live in Armenia for a century or two. That's awesome. Do you know Dan Panosian? Do you have kind of a friendship with Mr. Panosian, Danny? That'd be cool. Dan Panosian's this incredible artist. He's so good. Mr. Dela Cruz, what's the meaning of this turtle drawing? To explain it correctly, it would be a long, drawn-out kind of conversation. How do I put it? I basically just did a video on it that's going to go up in 2 days. It's a reproduction of an image from the original Turtles movie that I did back as a young kid. And again, the video coming out day after tomorrow, I think it will be. I explained that I was never somebody that could draw when I was a young 13-year-old kid. I was never an artist. But then this Ninja Turtle movie comes out, and there is this image inside the cassette tape for the soundtrack of the Turtles standing back to back. And I just, because I love that Ninja Turtle movie so much, I just sat down and just tried to draw it one day. And again, I was never an artist. And I was actually able to reproduce it pretty damn good. And I was like, wait a minute, I think I can draw. I have no idea. So at 13 is when I discovered that I liked to draw and could be an artist. And off I went. And I still have that original crappy drawing on some lined printer, like letter paper, notebook paper, I should say. And this is just me kind of doing the same drawing again, just to kind of do that same old school drawing, just 'cause it's on my mind. I'm just thinking about it. Never been particularly good at drawing the turtles, but my figures always tend to be long, gangly things as I draw them, and turtles are a short, squat, dumpy bunch, which is, at least that's how they should be drawn. And so I have to force myself to keep them kind of squat. Danny, you and Dan Panosian have met each other twice, and you talk online and follow each other. Real nice guy. I've heard that he's nothing but a nice guy, just like a really cool dude. I've actually with Mr. Panosian, I've done 2 reviews of his works. There was an art book, and then like one of his the Conan comics, and somehow both times he saw them and he commented and said thanks for the fun review. Like he saw my videos and complimented on them. You know, he said, thank you for doing that. And man, that made my day. In fact, Dan Panosian was the first time anybody on the professional world commented on one of my videos. It's only been a few people that have ever actually done that, but he was the first. And man, I was beaming, you know. That was really fun that he piped in and said something. Luke, Luna, do I think the term graphic novel is the right word for a collected trade? I guess. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I think the term graphic novel kind of feels kind of pretentious. It's like it's trying to give a thing like a feeling of importance that just the term comic books don't carry on their own. It's not a comic book, it's a graphic novel. Like, it's a comic book. You know, I just kind of developed a little bit of like a, not a distaste for the term graphic novel, but it just feels like some people use it in kind of in a pretentious way. And I'm not saying that about you, Luke, just in kind of broadly. It's just all the same. And you know, if you take a bunch of individual issues and you print them together into one big book, I mean, why not? It's a comic book, it's a graphic novel, it's all the same thing. Evil moves fast, but good moves faster. Good versus evil equals confrontation. If you're feeling go sour, try to rely on your true power. I used to sit at my kitchen table at my parents' house, listening to this soundtrack, drawing the Ninja Turtles. God, I feel like I've gone back in time, just sitting here listening to this soundtrack. Like, that's the thing about music, right? It's like a time machine. Music evokes feelings the way that not many other things do, or at least in a different way. It's like it's timeless and it's forever unchanging, and you could just kind of feel the same way decades later that you did the first time you heard it, you know, depending on who you are and how you feel about things. But Danny say when you first met him, you walked up and said, "Hey, Dan Bedrosian, I'm Danny Bedrosian." Dan Bedrosian, I'm Dan Bedrosian. That's funny. Yeah, he's a neat guy. I tend to work fast. I don't know how that happens. Um, for better or worse, you know, sometimes I work quickly. I've tried to slow myself down. The idea is to, if I slow down and take more time, maybe the drawing will be better. Kind of like Adam Hughes. He's known for being unbelievably slow, but he makes flawless drawings. But if I find that if I slow down, I lose my energy, and it starts becoming stale and boring, and I just have to kind of work quickly. And I feel like as much as I do or I can, I capture an energy for myself. Excuse me. Jesus. Steven Yanis, what's up? Oh my gosh, I'm choking here. Danny, your first experience with the Turtles was the first graphic novels they put out? Yeah, I missed those. Like, I didn't know the Turtles were comics for a long time. I think my introduction to them were just the cartoon and the toys. It wasn't until sometime later I found out they were actually comic books. Hazel's story, all red bandanas are different colors. I know that red bandanas are the OG designs, but I can't help but look at the turtles and think color coordination. Raphael wears red. Leonardo's in blue. It's just how it is. I think it's better for the characters to give them some kind of physical separation beyond the weapons. So I'm one of those guys that's like, nah, they got to have the colors. I get the red bandana thing, but I got to have the colors. Dan, it's best for the better. It tells a writer you have a deadline style. Yeah. Like, I gotta work this shit out fast. I gotta get it done. Yeah, what if they traded weapons? It would be chaos. We wouldn't know who's who. That's one of the things I like about the original movie, too. That's not going to work. Is that they made all those rubber latex foam masks of each individual turtle have a distinctive facial look. Like you know what Michelangelo would look like even without the color. He had a very distinctive look to himself. So did Raph and Leo. And it just worked better. Danny, you love those early Eastman and Laird issues. They created #1 in Dover, New Hampshire, about 2 blocks away from where you lived your last couple of years of college. I think there was a documentary I was watching about them. Really fascinating to think of just these guys just working out of, I think it was just a little apartment, right? That they called it Mirage Studios, I think it was, right? And they just create this ridiculous concept that blows up into this insane juggernaut of a concept that they eventually sold the rights to. But I mean, hey, it made them wealthy, right? And then you can kind of do, once you get the money locked into your account, you can kind of pursue whatever you want. You just need that one thing to really hit and set you up for life. Hazel's story, your mom found them at a public library when I was a kid, got into trouble because my brother told my mom that Raphael said the word damn in them and took them away. Aww. Yeah, Steven, the mask from the turtle mask from the movies looks like very Walking Dead. I've seen that. Danny, somehow even without the weapons in hand or with the face shots, Eastman and Laird managed to find a way in the black and white ones that make you just know by facial expression which turtle it was. I've only ever seen, I did a video on it. It's funny because I found like a reprint of the original turtle comic. And so I picked it up and I read it and I was like, I do not understand the appeal. I actually thought it sucked. But what I found out is that these clowns had recolored the entire thing with what was at the time modern coloring techniques. And so they basically removed all the gray tone, the duotone shading that they did, and put in this god awful coloring. And so once I went and looked and did a little exploring, and I saw what the original pages looked like, I was like, oh my god, those look so much better. And I was really kind of disappointed because Eastman and Laird signed off on this reprinting and recoloring, but man, they did not have an eye for what looked good and what looked bad, because this reprinting that I got, I actually thought it was garbage. And it is still garbage, but now that I understand that it was not the original work, it was like a recolored, re-edited version that just sucked the life out of it, I was like, man, they really screwed that up. So a buddy of mine had the actual reproduction of the original work the way it looked at first, and once I saw that, I'm like, okay, now I'm getting it. Now I understand. But at first, I was like, this is awful. What's the appeal? Danny, there was that Archie comics which has some nostalgic moments. You especially love that black suit Raph from the Archie comics. You know what kind of is a big bummer, to say the least, is how the kayfabe guys, they had the ear of Eastman and Laird, right? And those guys didn't seem, the Turtles creators didn't seem like they wanted to talk to anybody, but they wanted to talk to Ed and Jim. And we were getting some really interesting information and backstory and conversations. And there was so much more that could have come had the universe not been what it is. And just such a bummer, you know. I remember watching the videos where those guys would go through some of those Turtle comics and just the crazy stuff that was going on in those things. You have the black and white reproduction. How awesome would it be to have like a first printing of the first issue of that thing, of the Turtles? But anyway, yeah, it was yeah, you could see they loved Ed and Jim. You could see the respect. Yeah, and that was definitely there, because you know those guys have been through the ringer, Eastman and Laird, with all over the years, and you know, but to get some guys who actually, like, they know, they understand, they want to ask the right questions, and they wonder about the process, and yeah, it was just like, oh man. And they would even talk, Jim and Ed would talk about like this is like we're creating history here. We're able to like document this stuff and make it permanent for people to see. And it seemed like, if I remember, that they kept talking about, we're going to get him back on the horn again, and we're going to ask him about this stuff and get it on record, because Eastman and Laird wanted to talk to them. And it's just another in a long line of like, God damn it, it's the stuff that we missed out on. It's frustrating, to say the least. Yeah, they did a bunch of episodes. Yeah, I remember. I'm like, this is kind of crazy that they're getting this kind of access to those guys. It was neat, and short-lived. You know, Steven, I was talking about the only version of the Turtles that I actually have any connection to, because again, I didn't see the comics when I was younger. They just, I missed them. My version is the original movie. Those are the characters. Those are the versions of the Turtles that were my childhood attachments, and not the cartoon really. The cartoon was a little bit too silly for me. Like, it just didn't connect with me. But I like the movie version. And Angry Raph, I identified with as a kid because I was kind of an angry kid. I was quiet. I was shy. I was introverted, and I just wanted to have the means to express myself. And every time I tried to branch out of my quiet little shell, I always feel like I got smacked down and kind of made fun of or mocked. And so I was kind of an angry kid inside a little bit, and no one understood me. And that's why I kind of identified with Raphael, specifically in the movie. Living in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, is that right? Um, Ninja Turtles was distributed pretty strong. That makes sense if you're in a certain area. Like I said, I just missed it somehow. I think my mom explained to me, like I was enjoying the movie, and my mom was saying that she read an article about, yeah, apparently the creators of this, they were just two guys sitting around trying to make each other laugh, and one guy said something about Teenage Mutants, the other guy said Ninja Turtle, and so they just drew that, and then here we are. I'm like, really? Dan, Raphael's your favorite too? Yeah. There's a whole study about the psychological evaluation of people based on which turtle is their favorite. That's funny. I get that. Raph's kind of the angry one. Leonardo's kind of the confident leader. Donatello's the brainy nerd. Mikey's the childlike, child wonder, like, youthful one. Raphael is a Capricorn. Guess what? So am I. I'm a Capricorn. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember. Yeah, January 8th. My birthday's January 6th. That's right. We're like right there at the same time. That's right. Yeah, Donatello's your favorite there, Hazel. In a way, one of my favorite versions of Donatello is actually in the second Turtle movie. Like, it's not a good movie at all, but I kind of like Donatello in that one. He was a little bit of the focus of that second movie, the way that Raph was the focus of the first one. In a way. Eastman is Raph and Laird is Donatello. Has anybody ever read those micro series I did on each of the turtles specifically? To me, those, especially the Donatello and Michelangelo ones, are incredible. I've never heard of those. That sounds interesting. Hazel Stories. Hazel Stories is the name of the channel because I post videos of my dad telling jokes to my cat, Hazel. Your name is Claude. All right, well, how's it going, Claude? Shorten this sword, it's way too long. Oh, they're that old, Danny. They're that old. I didn't. Wow. Okay. I missed so much with the turtles. I'll just have to say that simply. Anybody play the old Nintendo Ninja Turtle game? You know, I always loved Raphael, but gosh dang, was he like the most useless one of them because of that little short range weapon of his that was useless. So therefore, I always played him the most because I didn't want to waste the power of the length of the reach of the weapons of Leonardo and Donatello. Yeah, Steven, the side scroller, same as X-Men. Stupid metal armless dog droids. What were they, the Mousers? Yeah, it was a hard game, but not impossible to beat. Danny, that Michelangelo micro comic is like a warm blanket. I know it sounds stupid, but it's like one of the best comics I've ever read. And the Donatello one is kind of like a love letter to Jack Kirby. Well, now I'm really interested in those. That's interesting. Mauricio, what's up? Leonardo leads, Donatello loves machines. Raphael's not rude, he's just direct. Right? There's a difference. Yeah, basically glorified gardening forks, so, you know, good luck with that. Raphael's not rude, he's direct. They just don't understand his love language. Raphael had a lot of unexpressed emotions. I have a Instagram page there, Hazel's Stories, Claude. Just my name, Rob Norton. Should be a link to it in my YouTube channel information here. That's interesting, Stephen. I never thought of it like that. Mikey gets nunchucks. Captain Nightmare asking if anyone's disappointed with The Last Ronin. I've heard everyone say it was supposed to be amazing, but I have not seen it. So I'm actually curious to hear your opinion on it. I mean, it sounds like you basically kind of gave your opinion on it. The reveal. What was the reveal? Spoilers if anyone wants to not hear. I 100% do. Like, I understand that it was Michelangelo, right? His brothers were all dead. He was out on, isn't like a vengeance story to avenge his brothers or something like that? Is that the spoiler that the brother? Because I understood that that was just the basic premise. I'm like, oh, I haven't read it, but I knew that about it. Like the brothers killed Raph? Boy, for a minute, I thought you were telling me, like, the turtles had to kill Raph. I'm like, there's an interesting story. Like, Raph goes on this rampage, and all the brothers have to, like, chase him down and kill his ass because he's just gone too far. Maybe I'm writing my own comic for the turtles now.
Hey, Dad, I'm gonna learn every trick in the world.
How long will that take?
A week?
I should do it. Or like, for whatever reason, Raphael goes on some kind of rampage, gets out of control, starts killing, and it comes down to Raphael and Leonardo in a fight. Raph goes villain and takes on the other three. See, again, I didn't read much of the Turtles at all, but I saw a lot of the stuff. And the crazy fantastical elements, I never liked. I like the Turtles more grounded. I think, yeah, Captain Nightmare. You like the older noir influence stuff over the quirky sci-fi stuff. Yeah, I don't like the idea of turtles fighting weird aliens and shit. I like them. They're ninjas. They're supposed to be fighting ninja type stuff and scum of the New York. But that's just me. And again, the only version of the Turtles I actually really have any emotional connection to are the first movie versions. Captain Nightmare, you'd pay good money to see a Shirei Ninja Turtle. That'd be cool. I wonder if Travis Share's ever drawn a turtle. You'd think with everything he's done, he may have would have sketched him at least once. I want to say that I think he has. Now you got me wondering.
No artificial flavors or colors. Good for your time, folks.
Of course, you probably mean like an actual, you know, like comic rather than just a drawing. No, that's not him. Donatello by Roger Cruz. That's pretty badass. Roger Cruz used to suck, but man, is he good these days. Like really good. A Jay Lee Ninja Turtle? I've never seen that. Look at that thing. That is different. Holy shit. I need to save that and look at that later. Yeah, I've never seen a Jay Lee turtle drawing. Weird. Travis Charest is really, really, really good. Again, I wish he'd draw more comics, some bitch. That's kind of neat. I need to come on. Fuck off. I remember this drawing that Shure did of the X-Men. I thought that was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. He's so good at that. Look at that tight pencil work Travis Shure does there. It's like, how could anyone ink that shit? All you could do is screw it up. Oh shit, I've never seen that. I want to look at that one later. It's a good point, Captain Nightmare. He probably commands such a hefty price that any single image, because it seems like all he does is covers and pinups and commissions. He probably commands such a heavy price, like he can make anything work by just doing a few drawings. Which is why we'll never see him draw comics again, because no one will afford to pay him. And drawing comics is a pain in the ass as compared to just drawing commissions. Like a single image here and there. Man, I could sit here and scroll through Travis Shure artwork forever and never get bored. Alright, anyway. Living the slow-ass artist dream, right? That is no joke. Well, guys, I'm going to call it quits for tonight. I'm just going to do a short one here. It was just wanted to get some sketching on some turtles done, just cause. I'm going to have to finish this and do the classic back-to-back drawing that's the basis of a video I got coming up here in a day or two. So, but yeah, I think I'm done for the night. I'm going to go watch some TV or something and relax that way. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out, as always. I appreciate it. I'll catch you guys later.